is going on, YouTube land? I am Chris Catalunya. Before we get into this shoe review today, go ahead and check out my Instagram, Chris Catalunya with the underscore at the end. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload a new video. Alright, let's get into this shoe review. I'm pretty stoked about today's review. Today we are reviewing that Paul George 2.5 PlayStations by Nike. This year, 2018, we've been blessed with a lot of Nike PlayStation shoes. In February, we had the PG 2.0 PlayStations, and then in June, we had the Air Force One Low PlayStations. Now, December 1st, we had the PlayStation Wolf Grays, and actually, I think there are two more shoes dropping. I think tomorrow or today, depending on when you watch this video, we're gonna get the 2.5 white version PlayStations, and I think on December 26th we're gonna get a multicolored PG 2.5 PlayStation shoe. Lots of PlayStation going around this year. So yes, this shoe released on December 1st of 2018, and it retailed at a price point of $110, which is actually pretty good for a Nike basketball shoe with a brand name player on it and a brand name company. Concerning the resale market, this shoe isn't doing too hot. You can find this a little above retail, but that's pretty good if you really want to cop this shoe if you're a fan of Paul George or PlayStation. Looking at apps like StockX, GOAT, or Grode, you can find this going for about $140. Paul George, much like most people on this planet, is into video gaming, and he wanted a shoe commemorating that PlayStation 1, otherwise known to kids nowadays as the PS1. Back in my day, we're pretty OG, we just called it PlayStation. And if you don't remember what that console looked like, it was just a gray console. It was pretty boring by today's standards, but it was just a gray console. The controller, we didn't have that DualShock or that rumble pack on it. It was pretty basic by today's standards. Alright, so let's actually get into the specifics of this Paul George 2.5 PlayStation Wolf Gray. So you'll see there are different components to the shoe. It is comprised of several different materials. You have that patent leather right here, you have the meshing going on, and you have like a neoprene-like material. So focusing on the lateral of this shoe, we have that patent leather, and on it, it has those PlayStation controller shapes. You have that triangle, you have that square, you have that X, and you have that circle. Adjacent to that patent leather, we have this wolf gray meshing happening, and then above that, towards the neck area or the heel of the shoe, we have that neoprene like material that conforms to the heel. On the medial side of the shoe, we still have that gray patent leather, and it still has those darker gray controller shapes on here, the X, the square, the triangle, and the circle. But also on the shoe is this Nike swoosh done up in blue. On the reverse side, on the lateral, we don't have that Nike swoosh on the patent leather. Now the blue on this side is supposed to represent the X button on the controller. On the right shoe, it's a green swoosh representing the triangle. And of course, around that patent leather, we have the meshing that reaches all the way to the toe box area. On the lateral side of the shoe, we have some TPU going on, and on the inside, that patent leather near the toe. Above the toe box starts the lacing system, and that is consisted of that same patent leather that you see on both the medial and the lateral side of the shoe with the same pattern going on. But at the end of the strap, we have this TPU plastic and the Nike swoosh happening. This strap right here is what separates the PG 2.5 from the 2.0. Opening the strap, on the medial side of the shoe, it actually says 2.5 in the hoop area, and this hoop is done up in TPU plastic. It actually has two straps feeding through them. On the lateral side are the hooks for the Velcro to keep it secured. And both sides are anchored down by some nylon feeding into the midsole of the shoe. The default laces are of a gray color and oval shape, and the eyelets are actually under the upper. But you have these eyelets right here that are on top of the upper. So you have one on the lateral side and one on the medial side. As we move to the top of the shoe, the last eyelet are of different colors. On the right shoe, we have green and yellow. On the left shoe, we have blue and red. Behind those shoelaces is the tongue, and the tongue is actually padded very well within this shoe. Now on the top layer, it looks like it's done up in a neoprene material. As you reach towards the top, this feels like it's done in a fake leather or a plastic. I'm not too sure of what it is, but this is definitely the selling point of this shoe. This PG light, standing for Paul George, it illuminates upon pressing the button that is at the back of the tongue. On the left shoe, we have the PlayStation logo. It illuminates too, but definitely not as well as the PG logo on the right shoe. It does, however, illuminate very well on the back side. On the back side of the right shoe, it doesn't do the same. And I'm actually really upset at this because when you look at all the marketing collateral for this specific shoe and even the PG 2.0s, it shows the PlayStation logo illuminating at the same rate or the same lighting as the PG logo. It's just terrible marketing, and if I knew that, I would have never bought this shoe. I think it's really funny in watching other YouTubers review this specific shoe and then them questioning like if their pair is defective or not. It's definitely not defective, it's just a really piss poor design. Also, I am upset at the fact that there are no battery doors for these illuminating lights. So what happens if the battery dies? You just do nothing? Again, had I known, I would have never bought these shoes. These illuminating lights actually have two different modes. So right now you have the continuous mode. If you press it again, you have it blinking. Alright, I'm off of the lighting feature. So we have this gray meshing going all around that button area, and actually the lining of the shoe is done up in that all gray meshing as well. Looking on the inside, on the lateral, on the medial, and the heel portion of the shoe, this is padded very well, and actually this is probably the best padded basketball shoe I've seen from Nike in quite a while. It feels really comfortable. Pulling the insole out from the shoe, which was really difficult, I actually had to put a blow dryer to the shoe. This is what it looks like. The bed, you can see it's done in this galaxy print. It looks pretty dope. Towards the heel on the right shoe, we have that Paul George logo done up in red. On the left shoe, we still have that same galaxy print going on, but at the heel is that PlayStation logo done in that same red color. Now this galaxy fabric is laid upon some blue foam right here, which is pretty thin. It doesn't provide enough cushioning, but it's fine because the midsole is made out of a Nike Zoom material. And we'll talk about that in a second. The heel of the shoe. This tab that runs vertical, this covers the seams of where the lateral meets the medial panels of the shoe. On the left shoe in dark gray, we have the word Paul, and on the right shoe, George, Paul George. And both shoes feature that heel loop made out of nylon. The midsole of the shoe, it's done up in that same wolf gray color. Towards the front it says Nike Zoom, which is a Nike technology that provides responsiveness, control, and some cushioning. And that's why our insole is pretty thin, because all the cushioning that you'll need will be in the midsole of the shoe. Now on the lateral side we have this Nike red swoosh. On the lateral side of the left shoe it's going to be this yellow swoosh. On the medial side of the midsole, it says 93552, which is the zip code for Palmdale, California, where Paul George is from. Moving on to the outsole of the shoe, a lot of YouTubers failed to mention the Easter eggs that are on this shoe. Towards the toe area of the outsole, we actually have some letters pressed in, and these stand for Paul George's older sister's name. Unfortunately, these letters are too small and the camera won't show it. On the left shoe, it says Port, standing for Portala. On the right shoe, it says T, standing for Teosha. On the back side of the shoe, on the left it says Pops for his dad, and on the right shoe it says Moms for mom. On the medial side of the shoe, towards the heel, it actually says Olivia, who is Paul George's daughter, and this is actually pressed into both pairs. Looking at the bottom of the outsole, it is done up in this blown rubber done in an icy blue color. Now the blown rubber is to enable flexibility for when you're taking your next step. This dark blue area right here is a little less firm than this icy blue right here. This dark blue actually functions as a shock absorber for when you plant your foot on the ground. Now towards the heel, we have that Paul George logo done in that sky blue rubber. And that's done on both pairs. There's no PlayStation logo back here. Now let's talk sizing. Normally when I rock a Nike, I'm rocking a size 8.5 or a 9 US. When I pulled up to the shop, I asked for a size 9 and homeboy was like, "No dog, you need to go with a size 10. And I said, just give me a 9. I put on the 9, and that 9 was hella tight. It was hella tight at this bridge area. It was hella tight at the toe box area. It was just a really tight shoe. I don't know what kind of last Nike used on this specific shoe, but it was garbage. Dude came back to check on me, asked how my fit was. He pulled out a size 10s, and the 10s fit so much better. It's just crazy to me that I had to jump a full size up for it to fit. That's ridiculous. In talking comfortability, the shoe is pretty comfortable, especially since it is employing that Nike Zoom midsole. But I will say that this strap area, I wish they gave us a little more slack so we can adjust it a little more, because it still feels a little tight at this bridge area. In summation, this shoe, it's okay. At the $110 price point, you really can't beat it. You have a brand name basketball player, Paul George, you have Nike and PlayStation added to the collaboration. what other shoe has that? We have the illuminating lights at the top of the tongue, which would have been pretty cool if you could replace the battery and if the PlayStation logo actually illuminated as well as the PG logo. It's definitely a different take on the basketball shoe. Alright guys, I think this is a good stopping point for this video. What do you think about this PG 2.5 PlayStation? Good? Bad? Let me know down in the comments below. Go ahead and check out my Instagram, GrisCatalunya with the underscore at the end. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload a new video. Alright guys, I am Chris Catalunya, and we will check you next time. Cheers! Sige na!